Good morning, everybody in the US, and good evening to all of my friends in Vietnam. Welcome to day two of season two of LIT Lit in English. And thank you very much for being here, for joining us today. So the goal for this Zoom call and for the Lit community is that we create an environment where we can practice our English to share this great knowledge in English. And together we will go on a journey to spread this amazing knowledge to every corner of the world. And I wouldn't be able to do this with you guys. So thank you very much for joining us on this journey. And today will be the second day of the second season. And yesterday we was discussing the sixth barrier, and through the sixth barrier we got to greatly understand the six barriers that often that often appear when we start to having an idea or having a goal or a dream that we want to achieve, but we tend to start making excuses to not doing what we desire. And those six barriers are limiting beliefs, fear of failure, fears of judgment, lack of prerequisite, lack of knowledge, and lack of vision. And during the presentation, we have learned the story of Mr. Roger Bannister, of how he was able to not only break through his limit, break through his six barriers, but he was able to prove to the world that it was possible. He was able to prove to the entire world that they can break through their six barrier as well. And prior to his accomplishment of running for 4 minutes, 1 mile under 4 minutes, he was able to prove that to the entire world. And shortly after that, hundreds and thousands, even hundreds of thousands of people was able to accomplish the same thing. And from that study, we have learned that once we can show the world that it was possible, once we're able to break through the limiting belief, once we can show the world that they can have the vision of the result that they wanted, they will be able to do it. And that is the importance of understanding the sixth barrier so that we can break through the sixth barrier, so that we can grow from the inside out, so that we can have our transformation. And that is the very foundation of the knowledge that we will share with you today, because through this understanding, you will be able to materialize your dream. You will be able to live a wholesome life. We will be able to get closer to the seven holistic wealth, and we will indeed achieve the holistic life. And that will take us to today's topic. And that is the first principle, arguably one of the most principle. And it is called, if you can help me write at the bottom of the page, and I would highly recommend to write along with me. So I would call it the principle principle of light, of light. OIGHT. All right. So if you can please help me draw a rectangle box. And this is the representation of a dark room. Okay. So imagine that we are in a dark room and we want to get rid of darkness. What do you think we should do? Should we try to get darkness outside of the dark room? Or option number two, should we try to bring light into the room? All right. This might sound like a very silly question, but the answer is very simple, right? Imagine if you walk into a dark room in your house and you can't see anything. It is very natural for us to just turn on the light, right? Turn the switch on, and the light will be on, and you will be able to see everything. So it is common sense for us to do that, and it is common for us to not worry about the darkness because we all know that the between light and darkness, it is like a binary system. One, when one appear, the other one will goes away. So when we turn on the light, darkness will goes away. Without light, then darkness will appear. So even though this is such a common sense, however, in life we we often to focusing on darkness. And I would like to invite you back to the six barriers. So if you can help me imagine the the darkness, they are like the six barriers, right? And light is like an idea. And this is extremely important because in life, many times we started to have idea, right? For example, for me personally, I often think of how I want to be healthier, how I should go to the gym, how I should drink more water, how I should eat healthier. And sometimes I even have like a business idea, like I should start a a restaurant, or I should start like a smoothie store. So those ideas are like a light that come into a dark room because usually we don't think about it. But the problem is once we have idea, we tend to generate the sixth barrier as well because we're starting to making excuses. And if we are not careful, we will starting to focus too much on darkness itself, namely the sixth barrier, right? For example, let's say I want to go to the gym. I needed to do my workout, but then I started to make an excuse of how I have to do my homework. I have to study, and my final is coming up. So maybe I should read more rather than spend an hour at the gym. And then I may starting to make an excuse of how traffic might be bad, that I don't want to be stuck in traffic, that if I go to the gym, it will take me 15 minutes and then another 15 minutes back. And we have to be aware of this because this happen all the time. And I cannot tell you why that is. I just know that it is there. And if we not careful about our inner self, if we are not conscious of it, we we will we will not be able to break through these barriers, and we will not be able to materialize our dream, our vision. And our dream and our vision, they are very, very important. They are very, very powerful. And if you can help me think deeply about it, right? Just thinking about this, whenever an ideas come to you, whenever you starting to, let's say, hear voices inside your head saying that, hey, man, like you need to be healthier, you need to exercise, or you need to study for your final. Those things are very important, and it is there for a reason. And if we don't focus on it, if we don't shine a light on it, then we might mistakenly not paying attention on it because it might be important later on. And that is the importance of understanding the principle of light. Because for the principle of light, we we will learn not to focus on the problem, namely the darkness. We will focus on how to turn on the light. Namely, we are focusing on the result. We focusing on the important or the goodness of it, like the benefit of bringing of focusing on the final result that we want. For example, let's say I want to be healthier. Instead of making excuses of not exercising enough or not eating healthy enough, I will focus in on how I will have a beautiful body. I will have a stronger voice. I will be able to like run a marathon. I will be able to travel the world, because without good health, there are things that you just simply cannot do. So that is the true meaning of bringing light into the dark room. So it's not simply just turn on the light. It is also about making your light brighter. Okay, so imagine that is a light. We're gonna turn on our light. Let's do it like this, right? And this will light up the room. And we want to increase the brightness of our light. We want to focus on the light rather than the darkness. And you know what? Better yet, we want to add more light inside of the room. Because like what I mentioned earlier, when you focusing on brighten your room, then it will becoming clearer. It will be better because light itself is not just light and darkness. It is about the result that you want, right? And this is the very basic the principle of light. And this is one of the very first tool that we can use to find our way to break through the 6 barriers. And if you forget how important it is to break through the 6 barriers, let me repeat the importance of it. Because if you look at this, right, imagine like an egg, right, like a chicken egg. If we are making an impact from the outside in, then that would mean we are about to use it as food, right? But if the impact from the inside out, then that will give its life. Because after the 21-day incubation period, the little chicken will break in through the shell. And that is life itself. Okay. So similarly, darkness is like the force from the outside in. It will hurt you, it will crush you. But if we learn to turn on the light, if we learn to lit up, right? And this is actually part of the name, the meaning of the word lit as well. We want to lit up our dark room. We want to lit up our inner self so that we can have life for ourselves. And the important of it is, if we don't break through these barriers, if we don't turn on the light consciously to giving ourselves life, then the world will break us, darkness will crush us. And generally, people tend to change after they experience suffering. However, we don't have to wait to experience pain. We can just change, and we can make the conscious choice to do that. And it is important to do that, because if we don't change um, after we experience suffering, then the worst kind of suffering will come for us. And if we still do not change, then losses will get us to change. And it is more important that we can make the conscious choice and lit up our dark room to to give ourselves what we need to truly take in control of our life. And that, my friend, is the principle of light. And in order to demonstrate even further the real meaning of the principle of life, I would like to share with you one of my favorite story, the story about the old man and his son. And this is the story about a blessing in disguise. And the story was about once upon the time there was a kind old man live in a very small village. And the old man only have his son and a horse. They live very happy in their small village. Everybody love them. Everybody respect them. They don't have a whole lot, but they do have a place to live. And the old man had his son who he loved very much, and his son loved him very much as well. And they supported each other, and they are able to make enough for living, have enough food to eat thanks to their horse, because the horse is strong enough to help them with their gardening, with their farming, and they are able to grow fruit to eat. But one day, the horse ran away, and the old man and his son doesn't have the horse to help them with their farming activity anymore. So when the neighbor heard of the news of the horse escape, they came over to comfort the old man. They told him that they were so sorry that he had such a bad luck. But strangely enough, the old man, the gentle old man, wasn't upset. He explained to his neighbor that losing the horse wasn't necessary bad luck, because there was no way for him to predict that the horse would escape. It just happened, and now there was nothing that could be done about it. There's no reason to be upset. And he said that he thanks everyone for comforting him, and they shouldn't feel sad for his misfortune. And 1 week later, the horse came back, and the horse brought back with him two other horses. And it's not just any normal horse. It's actually a very beautiful white fur horse. And the neighbor was very excited. They come over and they congratulate the old man, and they tell him that how he was right, and all of the sudden he was able to increase his wealth threefold, and that is such a good luck. But strangely, the old man wasn't too excited about it. He told everyone that there's nothing to be too excited about. It just happened, and it's not necessarily to be good luck, and there's no reason to get excited over it. And still a little bit puzzled, the neighbor left as quickly as they had come. And a short time later, when his son was riding the white horse, he uh, he fell over and landed on his leg. The son broke his leg, and he uh, he wasn't able to work as much as before. And then once again, the neighbor came over, and they said how lucky it is. They suggest that maybe the old man should just sell the horse, and so that he can avoid bad luck, and maybe he can get some money to support himself during the periods where his son couldn't work. But however, he said that it's okay. It's not going to change anything. And he explained to the neighbor that they shouldn't feel sorrow for his son or anger toward the horse. It was just an accident, and there's no way for anyone to predict that. And there was nothing that he could do to change it. And at this point, the neighbor thought that the old man was crazy, and they decided to just like leave him alone, right? Like whatever we said what we needed to say. About 6 months later, there's an enemy that invaded the country, and all of the old man's neighbor, all of the young boy in that village were drafted to defend the country, and none of them was able to make it back, but not the old man's son. He had a broken leg. He wasn't able to walk. He wasn't able to go to the war, and thanks to that, he got to rest, and he was able to stay and support the old man. And the neighbor again telling each other of how lucky the old man is, for he is having his son taking care of him during his old age, and he's now have three horses to help him with his farming, and his life seemed to becoming better. And that, my friend, is the story about the old man and the horse. The amazing thing about this story is that I feel like the old man was very good at lighting up his dark room. You see, when in life there are bad things that happen that might seem to be unfavorable to us. Some people even call it unlucky misfortune. But if we can learn to stay on the bright side of life, then often I do believe that we will get the best out of it. We will come out on top, just like the old man, right? When bad thing happened, he maintained his energy in a very positive manner. And I do believe that thanks to that, he was able to attract good things to him. And just imagine, just for a moment, right? If if, let's say, when the horse ran off, if the old man was to to get angry, and if he were to yell at his son, for example, for not taking care of the horse, then he might not have a good relationship with the son when the news will come in, and his son wouldn't be able to take care of the new horses. And toward the end of the story, if the son didn't have a broken leg, then he wouldn't have survived the war. He wouldn't be able to stay with the old man. Therefore, it is extremely important to follow the light, to light up your dark room, to light up your inner self, because again, just like a chicken egg, right? When the force coming from the inside out, that is life. And in that story, the son indeed was able to have life. All right. And that is the power of the principle of light. And to keep it even simpler, I would like to invite you to draw with me, just right on top, an image of a house, right? And at the bottom of the house, let's write the word inner self. And to the left side, let's write the word health. And on the right hand side, let's write the word relationship. Up top, let's draw some dollar sign for fun, because it will represent money. And on the right hand side, let's write the word finance. Okay, so in life, if we can simplify all of the problem or all of the good thing that might happen to us, we can simply put it under 4 categories. Okay, and that is the inner self, which is how you feel inside. Your health, which is your physical health, how healthy you are. And then we have relationship, which is your relation to one another. And then right up top, it is about money. It is about finance. And let's use the story of the old man and his son, for example, so that we can have a deep understanding of the relationship between all 4 of this category. Okay. So the old man, he is very good at um, bringing light into his dark room. He is always calm. He was always happy. He's always know exactly what to expect. And unfortunately, he doesn't have good health because he is old. Therefore, he relied on his son to support him. So there is very strong relationship between himself and his son. And also there is a very strong relationship between his neighbor to himself. And because the old man is very good at controlling or having feeling good with himself, he understands his inner self very well. That is also help him with his health. And because having a good health, thanks to his relationship, he was able to feel better about himself. And there's a very strong relationship between his health and the relationship that he was having. with his son and his neighbor as well. And you know what? Similarly, because we have a good inner self, we are able to make better money, you see. And similarly, when we have money, when we have financial independence, like the old man, when he has his son and his horses, he will feel better, right? Compared to when the horse ran away. So there's a huge um, connection there. And of course, when you have good health, you will be able to make more money. And when you have more money, you can invest that money back to take care of your health. And same thing for finance. When you have money, the relationship with others seem to be better, and the relationship of people can help generate wealth. Therefore, once we have a deep understanding of these four categories, we will be able to have the connection of the four, and we will be able to do well in all four of this, right? And this is when the principle of the dark room comes in. And by the way, I know that I has been talking for a while. So if you have anything that you would like to share, or if you have anything that you find interesting or meaningful, you can also feel free to type up on the chat or raise your hand. Otherwise, I will continue, because these are extremely important knowledge, right? And back to the house here. If you notice the structure of this house, right, you will know that we have the inner cell at the very bottom of the house, and money is right at the very top. So I wonder if anybody would think, why are we drawing a house? Why don't we just write like a rectangle, right? Okay. And why is inner cell at the bottom and not finance? Isn't everybody around us focusing on money? Isn't everybody trying to chase money? Isn't we all having a job so that we can make money, so that we can support ourselves, so that we can support our health, so that we can support relationship? Anybody think that way? I know I am, because that's what everybody around me are doing. They all seem to work very hard. Even Elon Musk, he worked like 80 to 100 hours a day to make money. So why isn't money at the bottom of the house? Why is inner self at the bottom of the house? And the answer is very simple, guys. We have to be able to have a strong foundation in order to build any houses. Okay. We have to have a strong foundation, and finance, money, it is not a strong foundation. And I'm going to tell you a story of why that is. The story is about one of a very well-known public figure, and his name is Donald Trump. He's actually one of the president of the United States. And the story is back in the 70s and the late 80s, right? Mr. Trump was very popular, was very famous in New York City, because he is one of the very well-known developer. And Even though he was very young, he has already made a fortune in real estate. He was already a billionaire. And $1 billion back then is likely worth around $10 billion in today's money, in today's currency, right? And that is insane. Most people only want to be a millionaire. You can do a lot with $1 million. This guy, he literally has made $1 billion for himself. And things started to change in late 80s, early 90s. And that was when real estate market started to crash. People are losing money left and right because they wasn't able to cash out the investment. And the more investment that you have, the deeper in the hole that you are. And Mr. Trump and his friends are among those people. So one morning when Mr. Trump walked down the street with his friends and family, he certainly looked very sad and concerned, and he pointed toward a homeless man who was sitting next to his Trump Tower, and he tell his friend and family that, do you see that homeless man over there? He is actually wealthier than me right now because I am currently in debt in the amount close to $1 billion. And that was the absolute truth, everyone, because at that time, because of the house market crash, Mr. Trump had lost all of his money, and he even owed money to the bank in the amount of around $900 million, which close to $1 billion. And just thinking about it, right? How crazy it is to make $1 billion and not only lose all of it, he actually lost another billion on top. Okay, so I know $1 billion is a lot and you might not be able to comprehend it. So let's just assume that everything you own right now, just thinking about everything that you have owned right now, not only that it just disappear all of a sudden, but you actually own to the bank the same amount of money. And that is so ridiculous. But that is what happened to Mr. Trump. But instead of giving up, instead of just kill himself like many of his friends did, he he know who he are. He had a very strong inner self, and he know what he is capable of, and he didn't give up. He uh, he made up his mind that if I can do it then I can still do it. And I believe that you can have the same mentality like Mr. Trump. So what Mr. Trump did is that he was able to sign a very big deal, one of the biggest real estate deal back in that time. Only 6 months after what I just told you, that he had lost all of his money and he owned another billion on top. And within only 3 years working on that deal, he was able to make $3 billion from that. So he was able to double his money, right? Pay back all of his debt, make back his money, and then add another $1 billion on top of it. And I tell you what, it was all about the inner self. It wasn't about the finance. His inner self was big enough. His relationship was big enough, and he was healthy enough to rebuild all of that money. It doesn't start with the money, right? Because if everything was to start with money, then How can someone start without money? How did we people make it? How come some people has becoming so successful in such a short period of time, while other people were working so hard on their life and they wasn't able to make any money? And we have to understand this. We have to have a deep understanding of this. Or if you were to look at some of the successful people in the world, right? They might have a lot of money, but do they have a happy family, or are they divorced? They have a lot of money, but do they feel good about themselves? Are they happy? Or they might have a lot of money, but are they struggling with their health, right? These are the real things. And if we understand all of this, we are so lucky. We are so blessed with all of this information. We would know to work on our inner self. And to make it clearer, let me draw on another page here. Okay. So just like a house, I want you to help me draw a foundation, and let's call this foundation inner self. So when I first moved to Portland, Oregon, I drove by the Japanese Garden, which is a very famous area for tourists here in Portland, Oregon. And I noticed they was building a very big building, but there wasn't anything there yet. I can only see that they was building a foundation of that building. They dig a very big hole, very deep, right? And this is the inner cell. It might look just like that, but there are a lot of strong foundation to support the inner self. And that's this 4. Let's make like 6, 7. Okay. So all of these are foundation that's supporting that building. It took them 3 years just to build the foundation. But as soon as the foundation was completed, they it's only take them a few months to build a skyscraper, right? And if you can help me just imagine any tall building in your city, right? You will notice that the taller the building is, the higher it is, then the more center it is to the base, right? So let's say over here we have health, and this is something that I'm expanding a little bit to help us truly understood why we need to focus on our inner self and not money. And this is all true. The taller the building, the more centered it is to the inner self. So the more successful you want to be, you have to understand the core value of your very inner self. And just like the house, right? The taller it is, the closer, the more center you want it to be. You don't see people building outward like this. It doesn't work because it's gonna fall that down, and it's gonna be harder to clean up. You don't want this. You want to make sure that it's nice and straight. and the foundation has to be on top of the inner self. And this is the important of it. Okay, when people focus on when people are focused on money too much, and this is like focusing on money, it it will eventually crumble and collapse on itself, and we have to clean that up. And I have seen that story so many times, and I myself has been a victim of that, because prior to understanding all of this, I was all about the money. I was young. I have a lot of energy. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to retire young and I'm going to live a good life. So a lot of us falling for the money trap. And just like building a tall building, if we are doing it wrong, the building will collapse on itself and we have to clean it up. And I'm not afraid to admit it to you that even for me right now at this time, I'm still in the period of cleaning up my own mess. But now that I know what I needed to do, I will need to focus on my inner self. And I do believe that I had a very strong foundation. And then, you know what? I'm going to start working on my health. I'm going to start to work on my relationship, and money will be the byproduct of it. And along the way, you see, this is just the introduction to these amazing knowledge. Throughout our journey, we will we will clarify a lot of principle, a lot of idea that will help you to achieve a wholesome life, a holistic life. And I'm not just introduce you to the this house for no reason. Okay, it's not just I'm not just categorize inner self, health, relationship, and finance for no reason. We are categorize this so that we can define it and we can clarify it, and we will know exactly what we need to do in order to materialize what we want. And the principle of light is one of the most important principles that we will use. And tomorrow, I will uh, I will help you create or define a seven very important section of your house. And these are the seven sections that will help us having a healthier inner self, have a better health, have a stronger relationship, and more financially independent. And together, we will light up. We will light up our room. Okay. And we not just have only one light. We will light up all seven of them. And that is one. This is two. So my promise to you is that tomorrow we will define all seven of these candles. And after you have a great understanding of these, you will be able to work on it. You will be able to brighten your house. And this is so much fun, guys. If you have like pen and paper and draw alongside of with me, because I'll tell you what, when you uh, when you draw like this, you actually materialize these idea, and you will understand these idea better. Therefore, if it is possible, I would highly recommend doing so because we are materializing this. We are materializing our idea, our vision. That was 6, and let's draw the last one. There you go. 7 of them. And better yet, those are the 7 pillar that will support your inner self. Okay. And just for this, let's write LIT, lit house. Why do we call it a lit house? Because we lit it up using the principle of light. So the house itself is very bright. And from there, we will be able to light up every other part of the building as well. And we are building a skyscraper eventually. And that, my friend, is the principle of light. We are focusing on the light and not the darkness. We are focusing on the end goal, the solution, the result that we wanted. And doing that, we will be able to break through all 6 barriers. There will no longer barriers when we see the importance of it. And we have a very clear understanding of the 4 most important category in life, which are the inner self, health, relationship, and finance. And we understood that we need to work on our inner self because inner self is the foundation to any building. With the strong foundation, we will be able to build a good health, a good relationship, a good finance, and that will last for a very, very long time. And doing that, we are not fall under the trap of focusing on making money like many other. And this is just the beginning. Along the way, we will learn more principle that will help support our understanding. And tomorrow, I will go in great detail of what these 7 candles are, what are the connection, how we can use this to help support our lit house. And the topic for tomorrow will be called the 7 holistic wealth. We will put a name to it. And you know what? Once we get closer to the 7 holistic wealth, we will be able to achieve a holistic life, a very meaningful, a very fulfilled life. And that's it for today's presentation. If you have anything that you would like to share, or if anything you find interesting, actionable, meaningful, feel free to raise your hand and share with us. If not, we will do it like usual. We will go out with a song. We will go out with a music. And thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, everybody. And for season two, I will take picture of my drawing and I will share it to our group so that when some of our members who couldn't join us live, they can go back to our YouTube channel and re-listen, and they will have some visual image. And I think it is good for us to document these as well. And once again, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Together, we will be able to spread these amazing knowledge to every corner of the world. We will be able to lit up the world itself. We will disintegrate darkness, and together we will have a great inner self, greater health, amazing relationship, financial independence, and we will live that holistic life. Thank you. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. And let me stop the recording, and we will go out with some music.